King Charles, who has lived a life full of turmoil and complexity, recently made a shocking confession about love throughout his life. At 76, reflecting on the ups and downs of his romantic journey, he opened up about emotions that had never been shared publicly before. It was a heartbreaking revelation that not everyone has the chance to fully understand. In this video, we will explore the surprising revelations from King Charles about the true love of his life, the challenges he faced, and the things that have never been known about the private life of a monarch. Keep your eyes on the screen as we dive into these fascinating and inspiring stories about the mysteries of King Charles's love life, along with the challenges and unique experiences they've had in life. You'll be amazed by what we're about to reveal. If you want to know more, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to catch the next video. King Charles, one of the most prominent figures in British royal history, has long left the world wondering about the true love of his life. There have been many speculations about his relationships, whether it was his lifelong companion or his first love. But his recent confessions have changed everything. He has shared the truth about the love of his life, a revelation that no one could have anticipated. People often assume that Camilla or Diana was King Charles's first public relationship, but the truth is quite different. His true love began with a very serendipitous moment with Diana Spencer. The first time King Charles met Diana was on a sunny day at her family's Althorpe estate. Although Charles was dating Diana's older sister, Sarah Spencer, it was Diana who captivated him. Diana was just 16, while Charles was 29. But the connection between them was undeniable from their very first meeting. The relationship between Charles and Diana was far from simple. After their first meeting, although Charles continued his relationship with Sarah, no one could have predicted that his breakup with Sarah would create an opportunity for Diana. When Diana and Charles met again after a few years, everything had completely changed. Once again, fate brought them together at Charles's birthday party, where they barely spoke. However, after the sudden death of his beloved uncle, Lord Louis Mountbatten, Diana approached him to offer comfort, causing Charles to see her not just as an attractive young woman, but as someone who genuinely cared for him. Certainly, the love story between Charles and Diana was far from a fairy tale. However, King Charles taught Diana many new things, from fishing to how to navigate the royal world. Together, they shared emotional moments and soon became a couple admired by the entire world. On February 24, 1981, they officially announced their engagement. Diana, glowing with happiness, expressed that Charles was wonderful, while Charles smiled, though his eyes seemed to carry an unspoken feeling. Though King Charles's life has been full of significant events, the story of his love life and romantic choices remains one of the greatest mysteries of his personal journey. His recent confession about his true love has surprised all those who have followed his life. Will this love story be remembered for generations in British royal history? Only King Charles holds the true answer to that question. Before Diana officially entered royal life, King Charles had planned a special trip to Australia to give her time to reflect on this important decision. However, Diana didn't need any time to think. She immediately agreed without hesitation, ready to leave her apartment in Kensington and move to Clarence House, her new home until the wedding took place. This not only showed Diana's determination, but also her strong commitment to love and the new life she was about to begin. When Diana appeared before the public, the world couldn't take its eyes off her charm and style, especially the stunning engagement ring she wore. Made from a 12-carat oval sapphire from Sri Lanka and surrounded by diamonds, this ring held not only material value but also a unique history. It was inspired by the brooch that Prince Albert gave to Queen Victoria in 1840, adding even more significance to Diana's symbol of love. But the perfection of this love story did not last forever. In an interview about their engagement, a journalist asked if they loved each other, and Diana immediately replied, "Of course." However, Charles's answer was less certain. He hesitated and gave a vague response, casting a shadow over their relationship forever. Charles's brief words left an indelible mark on Diana and on the minds of the world. As the wedding day approached, Diana began to have serious doubts about her relationship with Charles. These doubts became impossible to ignore, especially when she discovered the bracelet Charles had given to Camilla Parker Bowles, his former lover. The emotional turmoil Diana experienced made her want to call off the wedding. However, her sisters did not support this decision, reminding her that it was too late to back out, and the world was waiting for the wedding. On July 29, 1981, the wedding of Diana and Charles captured the attention of over 750 million people worldwide. Held at St. Paul's Cathedral in London, this wedding became a historic moment, as it marked the first time in 300 years that an English woman married a future king. The wedding cost an astounding $48 million, but all eyes were on Diana. The stunning woman in the ivory silk gown adorned with over 10,000 hand-embroidered pearls. Although the royal wedding was perfectly organized, it was not without its amusing and somewhat awkward moments. During the vows, Diana accidentally referred to Charles as Prince Philip Charles instead of Charles Philip Arthur George. Charles also made a slip-up, saying, "my goods," instead of "thy goods," in the traditional marriage vows. However, these mistakes did not take away from the beauty of the ceremony, and they made up for those moments with a romantic kiss on the balcony of Buckingham Palace, captivating hundreds of thousands of people gathered outside. After the wedding, the royal couple embarked on their dream honeymoon. They spent 12 wonderful days aboard the royal yacht, rowing across the vast blue sea, enjoying private moments in a world full of romance. It was a sweet time they could devote to each other, and everything seemed perfect, until reality began to present its challenges. Diana and Prince Charles enjoyed a wonderful honeymoon, visiting beautiful locations like Egypt and the Greek islands. Afterward, they retreated to the peaceful countryside at Balmoral Castle in Scotland to relax and savor the tranquility. Diana later wrote a letter to her secretary describing the honeymoon as perfect. Upon their return, Diana began fulfilling her royal duties with grace and confidence. One of her first major appearances was at the state opening of Parliament, marking a new chapter in her life. However, behind the glamour, Diana's journey as a royal princess was only just beginning. Diana's life, though perceived as a fairy tale from the outside, was fraught with challenges behind the palace walls. When she discovered she was pregnant with her first child, the joy of the world was evident, but Diana felt isolated and alone. She wasn't sure if she was ready to take on the new role. Faced with the stresses and pressures, Diana had a moment of desperation when she fell down the stairs while pregnant. Miraculously, both she and the baby were unharmed. On June 21, 1982, joy erupted as Diana and Charles welcomed the birth of Prince William at St. Mary's Hospital in London. What was remarkable was that Charles was present in the delivery room, a rare occurrence in the royal family. When Diana became pregnant for the second time, excitement spread once again, but beneath the surface, their marriage began to fracture. When they found out they were expecting another son, Charles couldn't hide his disappointment, as he had hoped for a daughter who could one day inherit the throne. Nonetheless, on September 15, 1984, Prince Harry was born, bringing a new joy. However, that joy was short-lived as their marriage began to unravel, especially when Charles resumed his relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles, which shattered Diana's trust and caused her deep emotional pain. In a desperate attempt to save her marriage, Diana made a bold move in 1989. At a birthday party, she confronted Camilla directly. It was a courageous act, but Charles did not change, and his relationship with Camilla only grew stronger. In 1992, a private phone call between Charles and Camilla was leaked, leading to a scandal known as Camilla Gate. The world was exposed to intimate details of their relationship, shocking the public. Camilla, who was still married to Andrew Parker Bowles, faced heavy criticism. Instead of hiding from it, Charles directly addressed the scandal in a television interview when journalist Jonathan Dimbleby asked if he had been faithful to Diana. Charles admitted that he had been faithful until the marriage became irreparable. However, Diana also had her own story to tell. In 1995, she sat down for the famous interview with BBC's Panorama, sharing her pain and struggles while revealing the truth about her marriage. In an unforgettable moment, Diana confessed that her fairy tale life had fallen apart. This interview exposed to the world the suffering, strength, and the battles Diana had faced behind closed doors. When Charles finally confessed, everything changed dramatically. Camilla and her husband, Andrew Parker Bowles, became the focus of attention throughout this period. Diana and Charles's divorce became a shocking event for the entire world, marking the end of a relationship that was once considered a royal love story. The separation of Diana and Charles shocked the world when they officially announced the end of their marriage. This news only increased public attention, especially when it was revealed that Camilla and Andrew had been living separately for 2 years, causing many to wonder if Charles and Diana's marriage was the next to fall apart. As rumors about their marriage continued to spread, one of the most talked-about rumors was about Diana's alleged affair with Army Captain James Hewitt. The relationship was said to have started in 1986 and lasted for 4 years, leading many to believe that Diana found solace in Hewitt's arms after Charles's betrayal. On December 9, 1992, Prime Minister John Major stood before the House of Commons and announced that Prince Charles and Princess Diana would be separating. He confirmed that the separation was mutual and that they would continue to co-parent their sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. Even Queen Elizabeth expressed support for the decision. However, surprise came on May 30, 1993, when Charles and Diana attended the 50th anniversary of the Battle of the Atlantic ceremony together. They stepped off the royal yacht Britannia, appearing calm and almost happy. It was the first time they had appeared together in public since Christmas the year before, and their appearance led many to wonder if there was still hope for a reconciliation. After their separation, Diana and Charles began to follow their separate paths. Diana devoted all her time to charity work, visiting hospitals and advocating for causes that resonated deeply with her. She also practiced public speaking under the guidance of voice coach Peter Settle. Meanwhile, Charles continued his royal duties, attending ceremonies and representing the monarchy both domestically and abroad. However, after a long period of time, the inevitable happened: their official divorce announcement. The negotiations were lengthy and difficult. and by early 1996, Charles and Diana met at St. James's Palace to resolve financial matters and custody of their children. Witnessing the love story of King Charles and Princess Diana gives us a glimpse into the hidden struggles and challenges within the romantic lives of the British royal family. What are your thoughts on the story? Feel free to share your views in the comments, and if you have different perspectives or want to know more about any other stories, don't hesitate to let us know. Finally, on July 15, 1996, the court finalized their divorce, and on August 28, the legal documents were made public. Their 15-year marriage officially ended. For Diana, the divorce was both a step towards regaining her freedom and a source of sadness and uncertainty. She confided in her brother-in-law, Sir Robert Fellows, about the emotional burden she had carried throughout the years. Details of Diana's financial settlement were later revealed. While she lost her royal title, she retained the title of Princess of Wales, symbolizing her enduring connection to the royal family. Diana's financial settlement included a lump sum of $22.5 million and an annual allowance of $600,000 to support her office and charitable work. Although this allowance ended in September 1996, Diana retained her residence at Kensington Palace and was allowed to use royal aircraft for travel. She also had the right to hold events at St. James's Palace. While her official ties with the royal family were severed, some benefits remained, including jewelry from her marriage and security services provided by the government to ensure her safety in her new life. Although Diana's royal life had ended, her story was far from over. The new chapter of Princess Diana's life was filled with challenges, but also hope and a strong determination to find freedom, peace, and a new purpose. After the divorce, Diana embraced her new life with the grace and strength that were characteristic of her. She saw the separation as a new beginning, an opportunity to rediscover herself and live on her own terms. Without royal duties, Diana was ready to write a new chapter in her life, one full of purpose, passion, and love. However, her personal life remained under constant scrutiny by the media. Diana found love again with Dr. Hasnat Khan, a renowned heart and lung surgeon. Their relationship began in September 1995 and was kept private for 2 years. She referred to him as Mr. Wonderful, and those close to her believed he was the love of her life. But under immense pressure from the media, their relationship could not withstand, and they quietly parted ways. Afterwards, rumors about other relationships of Diana surfaced. She was linked to a married art dealer, Oliver, and rugby star Will Carling, although most of these claims lacked solid evidence. However, her relationship with Dodi Al-Fayed, a film producer and the son of billionaire Mohammed Al-Fayed, could not remain hidden. Their love unfolded under the spotlight of the paparazzi, with every move meticulously recorded for the public to follow. In the summer of 1997, Dodi invited Diana to his family's estate in the south of France, hoping they could find some peace. But even in the luxury of the estate, they could not escape the scrutiny of the media. Eventually, they decided to go to Paris to find refuge, but it was there that the tragic disaster occurred. On the night of August 31st, 1997, in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris, the car carrying Diana, Dodi, and driver Henri Paul crashed at a speed of 121 miles per hour. The driver, who was intoxicated, lost control while being chased by paparazzi. In an instant, everything changed. News of the accident shocked the world. Diana, Princess of Wales, had passed away. Her death left many unanswered questions, broken hearts, and a profound sense of loss. Some speculated that there might have been a reconciliation between Diana and Charles, as just a few weeks before, Charles had unexpectedly visited Kensington Palace on Diana's 35th birthday. Their meeting was warm and filled with laughter, a precious moment that reminded them of what once was. When Diana passed away, Queen Elizabeth was deeply saddened. Early in the morning, Charles had to wake his sons, William and Harry, to share the heartbreaking news. The royal family went into mourning. The official royal website turned black, displaying only an image of Diana with her birth and death dates. An online condolence book was opened for the public to share their sorrow. On Sunday, the royal family dressed in black as they attended a service at Crathy Kirk near Balmoral Castle, collectively mourning Diana. The overwhelming love from the public for Diana touched the hearts of the royal family. Prince Andrew and Prince Edward also walked among the mourners outside Kensington Palace, reading the messages left by the people as if they had lost a friend. On September 5th, Charles and his sons returned to London. They stopped at the Sea of Flowers outside Kensington Palace, where thousands of bouquets, letters, and candles were left by those who loved Diana. The scene was overwhelming, with so many people coming to pay their respects. That same day, the Queen also returned from Balmoral and visited the memorial wreaths outside Buckingham Palace. The legacy of Diana, the people's princess, continues to live. Diana's funeral was not just a royal event, but a global moment of grief and remembrance. Leaders, celebrities, and people from all walks of life gathered to bid farewell to the princess. The presence of Prince Charles at the funeral was a powerful symbol of their complex relationship, but it was his choice of attire that garnered significant attention. While most people wore black, Charles chose a navy blue suit. Some criticized this decision, but others believed it was a way for him to honor Diana, a deep respect for her unique spirit and independence. That afternoon, Diana was laid to rest in a private ceremony at Althorpe Park, her childhood home. Those closest to Diana, including Charles, William, Harry, her mother, and her siblings, were present to say their final goodbyes. Diana wore a black long-sleeve dress by designer Catherine Walker, a choice she had made long before. In her hands, she held a rosary, a gift from Mother Teresa. Her resting place was on an island in the peaceful grounds of Althorpe Park, far from the chaos of her life. It was a quiet place, where Diana could rest in eternal peace. Diana left behind a legacy that no one can ever forget. Although she passed away too soon, the values she embodied, charity, love, and compassion, continue to shape the world. She was not just a princess, but a symbol of kindness, courage, and humanitarianism. Diana changed the royal family and redefined what it meant to be a modern princess. Her story is not only a royal tale, but also a story of love and continuous change, inspiring generations to come. After Diana's death, the royal family faced heavy criticism. Some felt they focused too much on royal protocol rather than expressing their emotions, especially when they kept Diana's sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, away from the public eye. One of the biggest controversies was Buckingham Palace's refusal to lower the royal standard. Traditionally, the flag is only lowered in the presence of the monarch, and since the Queen was in Scotland at the time, the flag remained at full mast. However, after public pressure, the Union Jack was finally lowered to half-mast when the Queen attended Diana's funeral at Westminster Abbey. There were also rumors of a disagreement between Prince Charles and the Queen's private secretary, Sir Robert Fellows, over the arrangements for the funeral. Charles wanted a large public ceremony, while fellows favored a more private affair. Buckingham Palace denied these claims, but the stories continued to circulate in the public. Another debate arose when members of the royal family and the Spencer family disagreed over whether Diana's HRH title should be restored after her death. In the end, no official request was made, and Diana retained her title as Princess of Wales, symbolizing her enduring connection to the royal family. The events surrounding Diana's death marked a turning point for the British monarchy, with the public deeply invested in her life and expecting a change in how the royal family operated. Diana's loss forced the royal family to confront major questions about how they respond to the public and whether the monarchy could adapt to the demands of a new era. The attention from the public prompted the royal family to reconsider how they handled the love and loyalty of the people towards Diana, the people's princess. On April 9, 2005, King Charles and Camilla officially married in a simple and intimate civil ceremony at Windsor Guildhall, near Windsor Castle. The event was not a traditional royal wedding, but a modest affair with just 28 guests, including Charles's sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, along with Camilla's children, Tom Parker Bowles and Laura Lopes. After the vows, the couple proceeded to St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle to receive a blessing from the Archbishop of Canterbury, Dr. Rowan Williams. This moment marked the beginning of their new life together, a significant milestone in their long journey of love. Camilla's wedding style was elegant and distinct from traditional royal brides. Instead of wearing a crown, she opted for two beautiful hats designed by Philip Tracy. During the ceremony, Camilla wore a white silk chiffon dress paired with a matching coat and a fashionable feathered hat. Later, she changed into a stunning blue and gold embroidered coat over her flowing blue chiffon gown, completing the look with a yellow feathered hat, also designed by Philip Tracy. Their wedding was not focused on grandeur or royal traditions, but symbolized patience and love, marking the fulfillment of their long-awaited union. Although Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip did not attend the civil wedding ceremony, they showed their support for the couple by attending the religious blessing at St. George's Chapel and the subsequent reception at Windsor Castle. As the head of the Church of England, the Queen felt it was inappropriate to attend the civil ceremony of two previously divorced individuals, but she still expressed her approval by being present at the religious service. In February 2022, during the 70th anniversary of her reign, Queen Elizabeth expressed her acceptance of Camilla and shared her hope that when Charles becomes king, the public would support him and Camilla. She also expressed her desire for Camilla to be known as Queen Consort, acknowledging her contributions to the royal family. After their marriage, Charles and Camilla built a private life based on mutual understanding and love. Camilla kept a separate home, Ray Mill House, where she often spent weekends and summers with her children and grandchildren. This house became a retreat where she could escape the security restrictions and royal staff, enjoying a simpler life. For Camilla, having her own space was important, and Ray Mill House was the place where she found peace and freedom. More than 15 years after their marriage, Charles and Camilla have built a life filled with understanding and harmony. Some reports suggest that Charles spent $3.9 million to purchase a property next to Camilla's home. Has his marriage to Camilla brought peace to Charles, or is Diana still the victim of unrequited love? What do you think? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments, and stay tuned for more updates. So we've listened to the emotional and heart-wrenching confessions of King Charles about the love in his life. Despite being in such a position of power, his emotions are deeply human and genuine. These revelations not only change the way we perceive his life, but also make us reflect on love and the choices we make throughout our lives. If you found this video moving and meaningful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more interesting and profound stories. Share your thoughts in the comments section, and make sure to hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next video. Thank you for watching. Hello everyone. Today we're going to explore the shocking moment when Prince William collapsed in court after learning the DNA results. Charles is not his biological father. Let's dive into this truth and the far-reaching consequences it has on the royal family. When the DNA results were revealed, Prince William could not stand. Charles was not his biological father. This was a shock not only to the royal family, but also a historic turning point, raising questions about the future of the throne and the royal family's hidden past. Let's uncover some untold secrets and the far-reaching consequences of this stunning event. If you want to learn more about these royal secrets that have never been revealed before, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Let's explore more surprising and profound stories about the royal family in the videos to come. The British royal family has endured many storms throughout its long history, from abdications to divorces. Scandals have come and gone, but few have had a lasting impact like the rumors surrounding Prince Harry's biological father. For years, tabloid newspapers and royal watchers have speculated about the true nature of Harry's lineage, especially regarding Diana's relationship with James Hewitt. The red hair, similarities in features, and their shared military background ignited rumors that Hewitt, not Charles, was Harry's biological father, despite all parties involved, including Hewitt, denying it, stating he met Diana only after Harry was born. Nevertheless, the rumors haunted Harry throughout his life. Former royal reporter Thomas Markham explains, "The rumors about Harry's biological father are some of the most persistent in royal history, and although there's clear evidence to the contrary, they just never completely vanish from the public's mind." The speculation only grew stronger whenever Harry made public appearances, with royal observers comparing his features to both Charles and Hewitt. Social media has amplified this obsession, with side-by-side image comparisons frequently circulating online. The public has always been captivated by the idea, according to royal expert Victoria Barnett. For them, it's like a real-life soap opera. But for Harry, it has been a painful shadow that followed him throughout his life. Within British aristocratic circles, these rumors were considered an open secret, whispered at social gatherings but never directly discussed. Some former palace staff have claimed that even within the palace walls, the speculation was unavoidable. The backdrop for these rumors about Harry's paternity lies in the turbulent marriage between Prince Charles and Princess Diana. Their relationship, once hailed as a fairy tale, quickly deteriorated into one of the most publicly unstable royal marriages in modern history. Charles and Diana's marriage was strained from the beginning, with a significant age gap, differing interests, and Charles's long-standing attachment to Camilla Parker Bowles, creating a perfect storm of unhappiness in their marriage. Handled his relationship with Camilla, while Diana was reportedly emotionally supported by and later romantically involved with several individuals, including her writing tutor, James Hewitt. Royal biographer Eleanor Hammond notes, "The Wales marriage had really ended long before their official separation. They lived separate lives, only bonded by public duty and commitment to their children." Diana later confirmed the breakdown of their marriage in her famous 1995 Panorama interview, where she painfully admitted, "There were 3 of us in this marriage," referring to Charles's relationship with Camilla as their marriage crumbled in the public eye. Rumors about the paternity of their children, especially Harry, began to spread. Although Diana and those close to her consistently denied the rumors, speculation continued. What began as a typical privacy lawsuit against a British tabloid suddenly took a turn when the legal team made an unprecedented move that would change everything. In an attempt to justify their articles, the tabloid's legal team requested the court to order a DNA test to finally settle the paternity issue once and for all. Royal expert Catherine Wilson recalls the silence in the courtroom when this request was made. It was an unprecedented move in a privacy lawsuit to request a DNA test. No one expected the judge to grant this request, but in a shocking decision that rocked public opinion in Britain, the judge ruled that, due to decades of public interest and its importance to the historical record, the test would be allowed under strict security procedures. For the first time, members of the royal family would be required to undergo DNA testing as part of a legal process, with Prince Charles, Prince Harry, and Prince William all asked to provide samples. The legal battle dragged on for several weeks of tense arguments. The royal family's lawyers fought fiercely against the DNA test order, citing sovereign immunity and privacy rights. The tabloid's legal team argued that the public interest in verifying the truth outweighed privacy concerns, particularly given the constitutional ramifications and the line of succession to the throne. Ultimately, the judge issued a carefully worded ruling. While the court acknowledges the uniqueness of this request and the individuals involved, the questions raised are of fundamental importance to the historical record and potentially to the constitutional arrangements of the nation. Thus, the test is justified. This ruling sent shockwaves through the legal community. Constitutional law professor Jonathan Wright called it the most significant legal decision concerning the monarchy since the abdication crisis of 1936. Initially, the royal family considered appealing this decision, but sources close to the princes revealed that both Harry and William supported the DNA testing, possibly in a final effort to put these long-standing rumors to rest. Don't forget to like and subscribe to follow the most shocking stories and latest revelations about the royal family. Join us as we uncover secrets never told before, shocking events, and unforgettable moments in the upcoming videos. You won't want to miss it. The DNA testing was carried out with unprecedented security and privacy measures. 3 independent laboratories, one in the UK, one in Switzerland, and one in the United States, were selected to conduct parallel analyses to ensure accuracy. Special procedures were established for sample collection and handling. The entire process was overseen by a retired judge appointed by the court, who had experience in sensitive cases involving public figures. The sample collection took place in absolute secrecy at a private medical facility in London. Prince Charles, Prince Harry, and Prince William each entered separately through different entrances to maintain privacy and avoid media attention. Additionally, with court approval, DNA samples from the late Princess Diana were taken from archived medical records. Although James Hewitt was not required to provide a sample, he voluntarily participated in the test, publicly stating he wanted to put an end to these harmful rumors once and for all. The testing process lasted several weeks, with each laboratory conducting multiple verification procedures to ensure the integrity of the results. The results were sealed in separate envelopes and delivered directly to the judge, with no copies being made and no electronic records kept. As the day for the result announcement approached, security around the courthouse was tightened. Court staff were required to sign enhanced confidentiality agreements, and mobile phones and electronic devices were prohibited in the courtroom where the results would be read. The testing process was conducted with the highest level of security, with the samples analyzed by 3 independent laboratories to ensure accuracy. When the final results were ready, they were only announced in a closed courtroom with a minimum number of attendees. On that fateful day at court, the tension was palpable as the 2 princes sat side by side, waiting for news that would either confirm what they had always believed or shatter their understanding of themselves. When the judge began reading the results, no one was prepared for what happened next. The DNA test results confirmed that Prince Charles was not the biological father of either Prince Harry or Prince William. According to witnesses in the courtroom, both princes appeared visibly stunned as they heard the news, with Harry gripping the armrest in front of him, and William seemingly frozen in shock as the judge continued reading the results, revealing that another man was their biological father. Harry was reportedly said to have collapsed into his chair, while William briefly left the courtroom to regain composure. The judge's voice remained calm as he detailed the scientific results, which all 3 laboratories had independently concluded. The DNA profiles of both princes did not match Prince Charles. Instead, they both shared paternal DNA markers from another individual, the identity of whom was contained in a sealed envelope. An official in the courtroom later described the scene. You could hear a pin drop. The prince's lawyers appeared visibly ill, with Harry shaking his head in disbelief, while William stared straight ahead, motionless. When the true identity of their biological father was finally revealed, a name that remained sealed in the court's records, sighs of shock and surprise echoed throughout the courtroom. Harry, who had just regained composure, was said to have bowed his head, while a court official was sent to check on William, who had yet to return. The judge immediately called for a recess, allowing the 2 princes time to process this shocking information. When the court reconvened an hour later, both princes were absent, and only their lawyers represented them, immediately requesting that all records related to the case be sealed. The news of the DNA results sent Buckingham Palace into an immediate state of crisis. An emergency meeting of senior royal officials was convened, and the Queen herself was briefed on the developments. Sources within the palace described an atmosphere of tension and deep concern, with immediate questions arising about the constitutional implications of this revelation. Royal historian Dr. James Barrett explained, "This discovery not only affects Harry and William personally, but it raises profound questions about the line of succession and the legitimacy of the future monarchy. This is unprecedented in modern royal history." The true identity of the biological father of the 2 princes remained sealed in the court records, although speculation about it quickly spread on social media and in the media. Just hours after the trial ended, the highest-ranking advisors to the royal family gathered at Buckingham Palace. Lord Chamberlain, the Queen's senior official, coordinated the response, while the Queen's private secretary managed communications with Her Majesty herself. According to palace sources, contingency plans that had been prepared for previous royal emergencies were no longer sufficient for this unprecedented situation. "There simply was no protocol for this situation," revealed a former royal aide. The monarchy had faced abdications, divorces, and scandals, but nothing had ever cast doubt on the very bloodline of the future monarch. Security around the royal residences was immediately increased, as officials feared public backlash and media intrusion. The royal press office, responsible for managing the family's public image, was completely shut down, with all announcements and scheduled appearances postponed. Constitutional experts were consulted quietly about legal and historical precedents, although in reality, there was almost no modern precedent. A similar situation had only occurred centuries ago, during a time when the rules of succession and the nature of the monarchy were completely different. The Prime Minister was briefed about the situation through secure channels due to the potential impacts on the government. A small crisis committee, composed of senior cabinet members, was established to monitor the situation and prepare for any necessary response from Parliament. In the days following the revelation, both Harry and William withdrew from public view. Palace sources said they spent time together processing the information that had completely changed their understanding of themselves. A source close to Harry revealed, "He's devastated but also very angry. For years he's been the one who's always been doubted about his biological father. But now he discovers that both he and William have lived with a truth that was kept hidden from them their entire lives." William, as the future heir to the throne, faced more complex emotions. The question of his legitimacy as the heir now hung in the balance, as constitutional experts debated the implications of this revelation. Royal reporter Emma Winters noted, "William's entire life has been dedicated to his future role as king. This revelation not only changes his understanding of his family, but it could change the course of British history." The princes were said to have retreated to Highgrove, a royal residence where they had spent time as children, to process the information in privacy, away from the public eye. Security around the estate was significantly increased, with additional staff deployed to ensure complete privacy, according to those familiar with the situation. Harry's initial reaction was one of feeling vindicated, but this quickly shifted to deep shock. For many years, he had been the one who was always doubted about his biological father, a source close to the Duke revealed. Discovering that the truth was even more complicated than the rumors, and that it affected William as well, was simply too overwhelming for him. William's reaction was described as calmer, but no less profound. As the heir to the throne, his entire life had been structured around his future role. The constitutional implications of the DNA test results not only threatened his personal identity, but also his public identity. Despite their differing positions and recent tensions, both princes reportedly found common ground in this crisis. They did not leave each other, one palace source revealed. This has brought them closer in a way that nothing else could. They are the only two people in the world who truly understand what the other is going through. Both princes were said to have immediately contacted their wives after the court's results were revealed. The Duchess of Cambridge joined William at Highgrove, while Meghan was reportedly providing support for Harry from their home abroad, with plans to join him as soon as possible. With this shocking disclosure, attention turned to the late Princess Diana and what she might have known. Former members of Diana's team spoke out, making claims that the princess had confided in them about her fears and secrets, although no one said she had ever revealed the truth about the biological father of her sons. Diana's former private secretary spoke to reporters. The princess carried many burdens and secrets. She often found herself trapped in situations not of her own making. If she kept this secret, perhaps it was to protect her sons above all else. Royal biographer Sarah Thornton suggested that Diana always protected her children. If she knew the truth, she might have believed that revealing it would only hurt them and destabilize the monarchy they were born into. As investigators pieced together the timeline, it became clear that Diana must have known the truth from the very beginning. Her diaries, some of which had been sealed until now, were requested by the court. Those who had seen relevant diary entries described them as heartbreaking in their honesty. One diary entry, likely written shortly after Harry was born, contained an ominous hint. "The truth will destroy everything. I must protect my sons at all costs. This secret will go with me to the grave." Diana's former bodyguard, Ken Wharf, remarked, Looking back, there were times when she seemed to carry an unbearable weight. She once told me that being royal meant living with secrets that could shock the entire world. I never imagined it would be something this serious. Those close to Diana during her marriage to Charles began to revisit their memories to search for clues she may have left behind. Her former butler, Paul R., revealed that Diana had asked him to protect a small box containing personal items, telling him it held truths that could never be known while her sons were young. The contents of this box, which is believed to have been passed on to the princes after her death, have never been made public. Diana's relationship with the true biological father of her children, whose identity remains officially sealed but has been the subject of intense speculation, is now being re-examined by royal historians and biographers. Photographs and records of Diana's social circle are being revisited to find clues that may have been overlooked. Perhaps most complicated of all is the position of Prince Charles, who had raised both princes as his own children throughout their lives. Sources close to Charles have revealed that he was deeply shaken by the news, though it remains unclear whether he was aware of the paternity situation beforehand. Royal analyst Timothy Spencer commented, "Charles has a complicated relationship with both princes, especially Harry in recent years, but there has never been any public indication that he suspected the biological father of his children. This is certainly a shock for him, as much as it is for the princes." Palace sources noted that Charles has been in contact with both William and Harry, expressing his continued love and support, regardless of the biological revelations. The Prince of Wales withdrew to his home in Scotland at Birk Hall shortly after being informed of the court's results. His public schedule was temporarily suspended due to a minor health concern requiring rest. Those close to Charles described him as being in an emotional turmoil. If he truly didn't know, "This is as much of a shock to him as it is to the princes," said a longtime friend. And if he did know but kept the secret all these years, that's an entirely different burden. Legal experts have pointed out that, despite the biological factor, Charles has been the legal father of both princes since their births. Family law expert Judith Middleton explained, "Under English law, a child born to a married woman is legally considered the child of the husband. This legal relationship does not automatically change due to a DNA test. However, the personal and constitutional implications are still profound. Charles has spent decades preparing for his future role as king, with the understanding that one day he would pass the throne to William. However, this revelation has disrupted his carefully laid plans for succession." Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, has remained by Charles's side throughout this crisis, offering him strong support. A source close to the couple stated, "Whether he knew or not, she is completely supportive of him." The relationship between Charles and the Queen is also under close scrutiny, as the Queen has always been deeply concerned about the responsibilities and stability of the monarchy. According to insiders, her response to this situation has been firm and composed. A former royal advisor remarked, "The Queen has seen the royal family through many worse crises. Her greatest concern now is the stability of the institution and the safety of her family." In a surprising development, sources close to the princes have revealed that they recently discovered a letter from Diana, written before her death, which was intended to be given to them when they turned 30. The existence of this letter has been confirmed by palace officials, but its contents have not yet been revealed. The controversy over Prince Harry's biological father has persisted for years, with many speculating that James Hewitt could be Harry's biological father, particularly due to their physical resemblance and military careers. Despite denials from all parties involved, including Hewitt, who claimed he only met Diana after Harry was born, the rumors have continued to haunt the royal family for many years. Former royal reporter Thomas Markham explained, "The rumors about the biological father are one of the most persistent issues in royal history. Although there is clear evidence to the contrary, they have never fully disappeared from public attention. Speculation has only intensified whenever Harry makes a public appearance, with royal watchers analyzing his physical traits and comparing them to those of Charles and Hewitt. Social media has only amplified this obsession, with frequent side-by-side comparisons circulating widely on the internet." Royal expert Victoria Barnett noted, "The public has always been fascinated by this idea. It's like a real-life soap opera to them. But for the royal family, it's a painful shadow that has followed them for years." Within aristocratic circles of British society, these rumors were considered an open secret, whispered about at social gatherings, but never directly addressed. Some former palace staff have stated that even within the palace walls, these speculations were inevitable. The context of these paternity rumors lies in the tumultuous marriage between Charles and Princess Diana. Their relationship, once hailed as a fairy tale, quickly became one of the most dysfunctional and publicly scrutinized royal marriages in modern history. Charles and Diana's marriage encountered issues from the very beginning, with a significant age gap, differing interests, and Charles's ongoing attachment to Camilla Parker Bowles, which created a storm of marital unhappiness. By the mid-1980s, both Charles and Diana began seeking comfort outside their marriage. Charles rekindled his relationship with Camilla, while Diana was rumored to have found emotional support and later a romantic relationship with several men, including her writing instructor, James Hewitt. Royal historian Eleanor Hammond observed, "The marriage of Wales had essentially ended long before they officially separated. They lived separate lives, bound only by official duties and their commitment to their children." Diana would later confirm the collapse of her marriage in her famous 1995 Panorama interview, where she heartbreakingly admitted, "There were 3 of us in this marriage," referring to Charles's relationship with Camilla as their marriage fell apart in the public eye. Rumors about the paternity of their children, particularly Harry, began to spread, although Diana and her close friends always denied these rumors. Yet speculation continued. What began as a typical privacy lawsuit against a British tabloid took a sudden turn when the paper's legal team made an extremely bold move that changed everything. In an attempt to justify their reporting, the newspaper's legal team requested the court to order a DNA test, ultimately aiming to settle the paternity question once and for all. Royal expert Catherine Wilson recounts the moment of complete silence in the courtroom when the request was made. This was an unprecedented move in a privacy lawsuit, and no one expected the judge to agree to this request. However, in a shocking decision that stunned the entire British public, the judge ruled that, due to decades of public interest and its importance to the historical record, the DNA test would be allowed under strict confidentiality measures. For the first time, King Charles himself would have to undergo a DNA test in a legal procedure, along with both princes. The unprecedented nature of the request caused immense tension within the royal family, with some advisors suggesting that the king refused the test on constitutional grounds. However, after lengthy private discussions, King Charles is said to have decided to comply with the test request. He believes that the truth will exonerate him once and for all, a palace insider said. He was confident that the results would finally silence the rumors that have haunted Harry over the years. The legal debate dragged on for several tense weeks. The royal family's lawyers fought vigorously against the request for the test, citing sovereign immunity and privacy rights. However, the newspaper's legal team argued that the public interest in establishing the truth far outweighed concerns about privacy, especially considering the constitutional implications for the line of succession to the throne. Ultimately, the judge issued a carefully considered ruling, stating that although the court acknowledged the special nature of this request and the unique position of the individuals involved, the questions raised were of fundamental importance to the historical record and could affect the constitutional structure of the nation, making the test reasonable. After a week of rest and medical treatment, King Charles made an unprecedented personal decision, surprising even his closest advisors. Despite being advised against it, he insisted on addressing the nation in a live television broadcast from Buckingham Palace. Sitting at a desk, King Charles appeared tired and frail, with clear signs of stress. He spoke directly to the public for the first time since the revelation. "Throughout my life, the Queen, my beloved mother, has been an inspiration and a role model to me and to all of my family. Duty has always been my guiding principle," he began, his voice steady despite his weakened appearance. "Today, I speak in the most difficult circumstances imaginable, but still guided by that principle of duty, to the truth, to this great nation, and to the institution I have served all my life." In his 20-minute speech, described by royal experts as the most remarkable royal address of the modern era, Charles acknowledged the DNA test results, expressing shock and pain before announcing his decision. "Although I ascended to the throne through blood and legal inheritance, I cannot continue to reign under these circumstances," he said. "The monarchy must be built on truth and legitimacy. Therefore, today I announce my abdication of the throne in favor of my son, William." This announcement sent shockwaves through the nation and the world, prompting constitutional experts to quickly address the legal consequences, noting that unlike King Edward VII's abdication in 1936, this situation presented unique legal challenges. Charles continued to directly address the revelation about his lineage. "William and Harry have always been my sons in every meaningful way. While I now know that I am not their biological father, my love for them remains unchanged. They are and will always be my sons in heart and spirit." He concluded his speech with a request for privacy. "I ask for understanding as my family and I navigate these unprecedented circumstances. Some may harshly judge the circumstances that led to this moment, but I only ask that you remember that behind the crown and titles are human beings who can make mistakes, and I hope there will be dignity in facing these consequences." As Parliament passed the constitutional path for William to ascend the throne, the transfer of power began. Initially, this transition was expected to take decades, but it was now expedited under these extraordinary circumstances. In his final act, Charles issued official documents confirming his confidence and support for William's ascension. In a private ceremony at Buckingham Palace, Charles handed the tools of abdication to the Chief Justice, formally marking the end of his short reign. William, who had prepared his entire life for this role, never imagined that he would have to assume it so soon and under such unique circumstances. However, he accepted the new responsibility with remarkable composure. In his first statement following his father's abdication, William emphasized, "The circumstances that led to my ascension are unprecedented and deeply painful for my family. However, the duty to serve surpasses all personal considerations. I am committed to upholding the traditions and values of the monarchy while acknowledging that healing and reconciliation must be our priority." After the initial shock, Charles found peace in his abdication decision. A longtime friend shared, "He feels this is the honorable path, and by voluntarily stepping down, he has preserved some dignity in an unimaginable situation." The former king retired to his beloved residence at Highgrove, where he focused on his health and well-being. The queen consort stayed by his side, canceling public engagements to support her husband. Thank you for watching this video. We hope the information shared has provided you with a fresh perspective on this surprising story. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss the next exciting